Hello, wonderful human beings, and welcome back to a new video. My name is Evelyn Borta, and I hope that everyone is doing well. So, first of all, I would like to say thank you for everybody who has messaged me and who has shared their experiences and observations about the metaphysical and physical aspects as well and consequences of taking the liquids. This is something that I discussed in my previous video, and I received emails and comments as well and messages, people sharing their observations. So this is something that I would like to cover more in the future. So I will keep covering this topic because it's important. And I wanted to ask all of you if any of you has any observations or experiences, then you can feel free to email me or share it in the comment section. So those experiences can be your personal experiences or experiences of people that you know that shared these observations with you. And I will do future videos about that. So I'm gathering information. I think it's important to get information from firsthand from people, but then also to mix that with occult knowledge and esoteric knowledge. So we are approaching times, which many times I'm discussing in my videos, where we are being offered and we are being presented with an alternate reality, like a new normal. And there's a huge amount of energy that is being put into convincing the human population to opt into this new reality, this alternate reality that is being created by those that are in power. And that is a synthetic reality which is mimicking an organic evolution. So the liquids are one aspect of that reality. They are one tool that is taking us to that alternate reality, or at least its aim is to take us to that alternate reality and to redirect us, to direct us from this organic evolution to that alternate timeline, that new normal. So in today's video, I would like to discuss a few of these things that are pointing in that direction and are being played out right now. So at the beginning of the pandemic, we have heard this phrase many times, and especially in the mainstream media, that this is the new normal. This is our new normal. It was going on over and over again, like a repetition, like a broken record. And the method that is being used when a certain sentence or expression or word is being repeated over and over again is called NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which is a method of convincing you on a subconscious level to opt into something or adopt that particular thing as your truth. And it's designed to change your thoughts and to change your behavior. So it's fitting a certain outcome. So this is an occult programming. So those that are in power and that small group of people know very well about these practices, about these techniques that are working with the subconscious mind and are changing one's reality on a subconscious level. So NLP is not a new technique. It's an old occult practice. However, humanity has been only familiar with this since the 70s when it was discovered. So when we have heard that phrase over and over again in mainstream media outlets and social media as well, that was a desperate push to convince humanity to opt into that alternate reality that is a synthetic, manufactured reality. And what it was saying on a subconscious level was that this is your new normal. This is how you will live your life from now on. Forget about what it was before, because that is not coming back. This is the way, and this is humanity's future. And this is how things will go in the future, and you have to adopt that without asking questions. So what is happening now is that those in power understand very well that we are approaching a golden age, that we are approaching a new reality that is part of our organic evolution and the planet's organic evolution, and therefore humanity's organic evolution, because we are evolving and we are expanding together with the planet. So we are living this very dense period, very dense age, this dark age or iron age. And as we are approaching this new golden age or age of Aquarius, there is a new reality that is approaching, a new reality that is based on a higher consciousness, on a consciousness evolution. And the light of the age of Aquarius is allowing us to have that consciousness shift. So these beings that have been thriving for many thousands of years in that dark age, they want to secure their place right now because they understand that this is a transitional period that can either make or break their power. So they need to secure that power right now before the great awakening is happening, which is happening nonetheless. So humanity is being exposed to the light of the age of Aquarius. So it is inevitable for humanity to wake up because that is representing our organic evolution. And there was a huge wave of awakening that started already in the 80s. And then it was followed by another huge wave of awakening in the 90s. So many people had their huge shift in their consciousness and an opening of their higher consciousness. And then in the 2000s, and then now is just inevitable. And then there are more and more people that are awakening every day and they are questioning this matrix. So it is very evident for these dark beings, as I said, that they either make it now or what is going on will break their power. So they need to act as soon as possible. So the cosmic energies that we are being exposed to right now are breaking their occult power, are breaking these entities' occult power. So what is happening when a human being is going through an organic evolution and it's evolving together with the cosmos and the cosmic consciousness? An organic evolution means the development of the human body via grounding our higher consciousness in our body. And when this happens, there's an integration, the integration of the soul in our human body, an aligning with our soul, which leads to a Kundalini awakening. And that Kundalini awakening generates more and more coherence in the body and more magnetism in the body. And then we start to remember past lives, we start to align with our psychic abilities and to tap into our psychic abilities that were dormant up to that point. And then we begin to reclaim our psychic gifts. So there's an energy healing that is taking place in the physical body. We are tapping into our ability to heal ourselves with our cosmic consciousness, with energy. And the more healing is taking place, and it's taking place naturally, the more of our traumas we are transmuting as well, and our karmas, and the more shadows we are integrating. And the more shadows we are integrating, the more we can align ourselves with that cosmic consciousness, with the higher consciousness. So it's working both ways. This is what a Kundalini awakening means. So when an integration of our soul within a physical body happens, then we are able to create a more compassionate society, a higher society. So this is what it means to move from dark ages to lighter ages, from the dark age to the golden age, like to move through these evolutionary waves and to experience what is to sink deep into materialism, into matter, and to forget who we are. And when we do that, and this is what an organic evolution is, when we do that, we agree upon forgetting who we are. And we agree upon moving through these challenging times where we experience a lot of shadow. And to move out of that, we need to face our shadows and we need to transmute our shadows. So this is like a dance between different epochs and different densifications. This is what the cosmos does, and we do it together with the cosmos. So those that gained power in these dark ages, in these shadow ages, in this shadow age that we are living right now, are trying to convince us that their false construct of a new reality, a new normal, is our reality. And they are mimicking the organic evolution. They are mimicking the organic cosmic consciousness. That's all that they can do. And this is what we are seeing with the neuralink as well. When a chip is being planted in your brain, it is only mimicking an organic human ability to be able to read the Akashic records, for example, or to be able to download information, cosmic information from the cosmic database. It is trying to mimic clear cognizance, the ability to access the higher mind. So this is what the neuralink is trying to do. It's a mockery of a higher consciousness. It is basically a false cosmic consciousness, a transhumanist attempt to remove you from your natural psychic gifts and abilities and your natural ability to heal yourself. So when they tell you that we will put a chip in your brain and then you will be able to heal yourself, or you will be able to download information or to communicate telepathically, they are basically telling you that you don't need to work with your pain, you don't need to work with your trauma, you don't need to work with your shadows and your inner child, because everything will be done for you externally. You cannot give that to yourself. This is something that only technology can give to you. So they are removing your I, the soul. It is a reversal teaching, it's an inversion. That is the exactly opposite teaching of the mystery schools. Because these individuals are thinking strictly scientifically and intellectually. And they look down to the human species and they look down to emotions and their way of thinking. So the transhumanist way of thinking is that if we could just get rid of the emotions, then we will get rid of our weaknesses and we will get rid of our pain. And we will get rid of fear as well, because actually we are so terrified of our pain. But the problem is that when you get rid of your emotions and pain and fear, then you also get rid of beauty. Then you also get rid of love. And you also get rid of God, which is impossible because God is omnipresent. But what you can do is to turn your back to God. So when you turn your back to your emotions, and you deny your emotions, you basically turn your back to your own self, to your own godliness. You turn your back to God and to your own existence. So that is the biggest mistake of the transhumanist agenda, that it creates this degenerate path by trying to get rid of emotions, by trying to replace emotions, the human emotions, with technology, which is leading to a degenerate path. And for example, the Greys, which many times I talked about, are great examples, and the Anunnaki and these very weird interdimensionals are a great example of this degenerate path. And now what they are doing, after they messed up their own evolution, they are trying to come back, and they are being obsessed with the human DNA, and they are trying to steal human DNA to reintegrate themselves into the human population and create these also weird hybridization programs where they can reincarnate in human bodies, and they think that they will not mess up this time. So what they are doing is that they are trying to prevent the transhumanist path by creating another transhumanist path. So they are trying to solve the problem with the same method that created the problem. They are solving the problem how they created the problem. And that is showing clearly that they are unable to create an evolutionary path. They can only create devolution because they are going in circles. They are being trapped in this four-dimensional chaos plane and they don't find the way out. They cannot go higher than that. They know very well that they messed it up. They want to correct their mistake, but they are doing the same mistake over and over again. This is what it means not to have an emotional body integrated, not having the heart integrated, because the only thing that can see the big picture and the only thing that can see the problem from the point of view of a whole is the heart, and they are missing that. So that is the biggest mistake of this transhumanist path. And all these psychopaths are being convinced that they will succeed this time. And I just recently shared the video on my Patreon with the psychopaths of the World Economic Forum and the Great Reset that are being convinced that their plan will work out. There's this guy who is the lead advisor of Klaus Schwab called, I think his name is Yuval Harari or something like that. And he's saying that we will get to a point where artificial intelligence will be the biggest advisor of humans, where humans will no longer need human connections. They will only need artificial intelligence that is understanding them completely.
You go around 24 hours a day with biometric sensors on or inside your body, and they constantly send information
So you monitored you are monitored.
You're monitored all the time. The information goes to an AI doctor, maybe on your smartphone or whatever, which analyzes all this stream of information and monitors your health in a way which no human doctor can even approach. As far as biology tells us today, anger and fear and depression, they are also biochemical processes, biochemical patterns, just like flu or cancer. If the AI can diagnose flu, it can also diagnose anger. And the fact that it doesn't have any emotions of its own actually makes it in many situations much better because it has no distractions. People will become so used to computers that are so empathic, that really understand me so deeply, that really care about my tiniest nuance of emotion, that humans will not be able to compete. We will become intolerable to all these humans who don't understand us the way that the computers understand us.
They are being convinced that the human emotions can be replaced with a machine and that is sustainable. So that is the insanity of these individuals that are playing God in our society right now. That is the insanity of this new alternate reality, this new normal that they are manufacturing, that they are constructing, and they think that they can just convince you to go to sleep. They will put you to sleep, and then you will accept this as your new reality. And many people, unfortunately, will do that. And many people think that this is necessary. And those are those individuals that are unable to face their shadows, that are afraid of facing their own shadows. And this is what they are sharing with these dark entities. This is what they are having in common. They are all terrified of their own darkness and their own shadows. They are terrified of their own emotions, and they are trying their best to get rid of that. Because let's face it, in order to integrate our shadows, we have to go through a very, very messy process, a very messy process of mourning, of grieving everything that we knew up to this point. And not everybody is ready for that. Not everybody is capable of that. So many people will choose to go to sleep. Many people will choose to leave the curtains closed and not let in any light, because when the light comes in, then the awakening happens. And that is painful after a long period of time of sleeping. So the other insanity of the new normal, alternate reality, and it's appearing in more and more headlines lately, is to convince you that eating insects is something that is sustainable, is something that can save our planet. So one of these insane attempts to convince you to opt into their fake reality is to convince you that the food that you are eating is actually very dangerous for you. Oh, normal meat causes cancer. Fish is causing cancer. Dairy is causing cancer. Growing your own food at home is very dangerous as well. Keeping your own chicken is also dangerous because it gives you food poisoning and salmonella. So we don't need organic food. We don't need normal tomatoes, vegetables, meat. No, we can create them in a lab. We don't need God. We don't need anything that is organic. We will create a much better version of that. We can play God. So please eat insects instead of poisoning yourself with these organic things that can cause you cancer. And by eating insects, you can save the planet. There are actual headlines saying that eating insects could cut environmental impact by more than 80%. So this is absolute insanity. All these elements are mockeries of this organic evolutionary path. And the other thing that is also a mockery is the virtual reality, is the metaverse. And that is actually mocking the third eye and the capabilities of connecting with each other and telepathic communication. And they say that, oh, you just need metaverse and you can have your meetings there. And this is where we are heading now. We will put on some glasses and then we will live our lives in that alternate reality. We no longer need the human touch. We no longer need the human connections. Everything will be replaced with this artificial intelligence. And then you will be happy. And to simplify your life even better, then you will be able to pay with a chip from under your skin. You will be able to carry your digital tattoo with you, your digital ID with you. And it will be all encrypted in you. in your body, and we will have access to that. And you will be so happy in this reality because no one will have any rights. You will have equal rights with other people and you will share the same reality. You will own nothing, basically. Nokia CEO in this latest Davos meeting was saying that by 2030, people will not have physical mobile phones. They will have it under their skin. It will be included in their human body, in their physical body.
I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual, kind of the most common interface.
Wow.
Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
And one of the important statements we've, I think, made at our most recent developers conference is that we believe that one of the big advantages of augmented reality is actually solving problems here on Earth. And it will be things like having glasses and being able to translate as you speak with glasses. And those are very close.
Holograms will be very, very high quality in the era of 6G. I've already seen 5G-based hologram demonstrations. They already work. But then with the next generation technology, I mean, we could be having this meeting so that in reality we would be sitting in different parts of the world.
Do we really want that? So you understand the absurdity of this alternate reality that they are creating, and they try to present this to you as something normal, as your new normal, as a path that is inevitable, as a future that is inevitable, as something that is set in stone and there's no other way around. This is what they are trying to convince you of, that you need to adopt that. That is your only way. So it's important to call these people out on this BS as soon as they are coming up with proposals like this, and to hold them accountable for this, to hold them accountable and not to comply with this new reality. We can say, no, we don't want that. I don't want to pay with a smile in the supermarket. I don't want to pay with anything that is under my skin. I don't want anyone to put anything under my skin. I don't want anyone to inject anything in me. And I keep talking about this in my videos, that it is all up to us and we have to start saying no.
Maybe in a couple of decades when people look back, the thing they will remember from the COVID crisis is this is the moment when everything went digital. And if this was the moment when everything became monitored, that we agreed to be surveyed all the time, not just in authoritarian regimes, but even in democracies. And maybe most importantly at all, this was the moment when surveillance started going under the skin. The big process that's happening right now in the world is hacking human beings, the ability to hack humans.
And we have to say no to the digital tattoos. We have to say no to anything, any biometric sensors and biometric digital whatever society, cashless society. No, we don't want that. This is not our only way. We are creating our reality. We cannot afford someone to take away our rights and to tell us what is our reality, or to come up with these crisis situations and then take advantage of these crisis situations. And while we are being preoccupied with each other and trying to figure out what is going on a 3D level, they, in the background, they are changing human rights. And they are taking away more and more of our rights. We cannot afford that. We have to keep our rights intact, because this is what they are trying to do in the US now as well with this new gun law. With all these school shootings, they are preparing the ground for a population, for a society that is completely disarmed. So when the time comes, they cannot defend themselves. They cannot protect themselves. We cannot let that happen. We have to say no. We have to say no to their alternate reality. And we also have to understand that in this 3D reality, when they are wanting to play God and they want to mock nature and the organic evolution, that is a very limited and very vulnerable place for them to be in. They need to put a lot of effort and a lot of energy into mimicking something that is organic, into mimicking nature, and that is unsustainable, and that is a very weak position and vulnerable position, as I said. So with our organic evolution and integration of our shadows, we do have a position of advantage. And we have to understand that the more shadows we integrate and the more shadows and trauma, we transmute, the better position we are gaining for ourselves. Because our actions will be governed by the heart and the heart-centeredness and the Christ consciousness. And that is strength. That is a very strong position to be in. So these individuals are just powerless in that sense, because the place of empowerment is the Christ consciousness, when we embody the Christ consciousness. But that is only possible when we face our shadows. And that's what I am trying to say all the time with my videos. To face our shadows, not to be afraid of them, not to be afraid of the darkness. So guys, this is what I wanted to say in today's video. And I hope it made sense and I hope it resonated. And if it did, you can feel free to subscribe to this channel. And then if you want to support my channel and my work, then you can feel free to join my Patreon. You can check it out. And if you like the posts that I'm posting there, you like the content, then you're more than welcome to support my Patreon then. So take care, everybody. And don't forget that we have the power within us and we can change the course of the events. It is all up to us, really. So have a good day, everybody. And I cannot wait to see you next time.